I've traveled almost 4,000 miles to come to this yarn shop here in London. We are about to load up the car, getting ready to go to the airport, and I am packing little Pablo Pig. Look how cute he is. Anyway, little Pablo is heading all the way to England, and he's gonna stay there, so I'm kind of sad to say goodbye. We are going to be staying with a family one night while we are in England, and I just wanted to bring her a little thank you for hosting us, and we're gonna get ready to get in the car. We're tired. We're very, very tired. Maybe we're just tired, or maybe things are a little bit different here in England, but we have been noticing that the road signs are very different here. One road sign that we just saw said, what did it say?
Spray possible.
Spray possible. And we just don't know what that means. We don't know, does that mean a skunk spray? Does that mean somebody may be standing on the side of the highway with a hose, like a water hose, and spray you down? We didn't know what that meant. Oh, one of the other things is that the GPS told us to do a half turn. Half left. What was it?
Yeah.
Half left turn, which we didn't know what that meant. Like, well, so that was different. The other thing that's really weird is that I ended up getting water at the little arrival area, and I took a big swig of it and was shocked that it didn't taste like water, and looked and it says sparkling water. Well, where we're from, we drink a lot of sparkling water, but it's a flavored water and it tastes really different than this one. So that was very shocking to me. It tastes really different. So anyway, we are on our way to, what is it again? Silverstone. It's a racetrack. So my husband has some work to do there, and I am starving. So I'm hoping we can get some lunch really soon. So we're in the village of Silverstone right now. We're trying to find somewhere to eat. And here's another thing we've noticed. The roads are definitely more narrow here than they are back home. And so that's giving me a little bit of a heart attack, because I feel like we're on the wrong side of the road, which of course we aren't here, but it feels you're gonna hit the curb.
It's fine.
Oh my God. Okay. See, this is how this has been going the whole time. Plus all the roundabouts and the cars coming, and the tiredness and the narrow roads is starting to scare me. So, but this is a very, very cute little town, village. It's really cute. So I'm excited. Oh, look at the red phone booth. That's really cute. Oh, we're going to eat at the White Horse here in Silverstone. We made it to York, which is in the northeast of the country. It's a walled city which was founded by the ancient Romans. Our hotel was situated across the street from Clifford's Tower, which is part of York Castle, which was originally built in 1068, over 1,000 years ago. We met my husband's business associate Dave, and his lovely partner Fiona joined us for a walk around the city. Dave is a native of York and gave us the most fabulous tour. He shared the history of this extraordinary area area, and we oohed and awed over every nook and cranny. York was my favorite place we visited in all of England. Not only was the scenery gorgeous, but the history of the town was incredibly interesting. We didn't have time to go inside York Minster, but the outside of this ancient church was breathtaking. The intricate details were astonishing. The stone carvings and stained glass windows adorned the entire church. York is also home to the magnificent National Railway Museum, which my husband was incredibly excited to visit. We enjoyed seeing all the trains, especially Queen Victoria's. Talk about traveling in style. We said goodbye to Fiona and Dave and spent our first proper night in England. We woke up refreshed and ready to head to our next stop, Manchester. Today we ended up driving over to Manchester because our son is a huge Manchester United fan. This was actually the funny part. So we get here into Manchester and we did not tell our son that we were going to be staying. Well, let me back up a little bit. So my husband wanted to surprise our son and he was looking up hotels to stay at in Manchester and he found one that was at Old Trafford. I don't remember the name, but it is the name of the Manchester United stadium. He booked the hotel thinking that the hotel actually was at the Manchester United stadium and that we actually had a room looking over the pitch. We were so excited to surprise our son with that because we just wanted to make it special for him. And we drive right by the Manchester United stadium. The navigation was taking us further away from it and we thought, that's weird. Maybe it's going to circle us around the other way. And it brought us to a different stadium, which is a cricket stadium. So our hotel room is at the cricket stadium and it does overlook the pitch, the field, the cricket field. So I didn't get to finish what I was saying because my phone died. But we as Americans don't know anything about cricket. So we're here at this stadium. We all thought it was hysterical. My husband was a little bit bummed out about it, I think. But my son thought it was hysterical. So you know what? It's a great story. We will enjoy sharing that story for many years to come. So we're actually headed over to the Manchester United Stadium right now, and it's called Old Trafford. My brain has been not working so great the last couple of days, but I'm feeling really good this morning. So we're going to go head over there now. It was just a short walk from our hotel over to Old Trafford. We got tickets to take the full tour of the stadium, and we were all excited to experience English football in person. The tour took us through the entire stadium and our guide gave us the full experience. We not only got to see the pitch, or field as we call it in America, but he gave us the rich history of Manchester United as a club. We all got the sense that the English take their football as seriously as Americans take our own sports, maybe even more so. We even got to go into the real dressing room and my son was excited to sit in front of Ronaldo's jersey. It was an experience we will never forget and it will make watching the matches on TV even more special from now on. As soon as the tour of the stadium was over, we were off to our next destination on the southern coast. We stayed in the beautiful coastal town of Bournemouth for just one night and took a little walk around the pier before making our way to Poole, which was just a few miles away. My husband met another business associate there and he and his wife took us to the cutest little pub called St. Peter's Finger for lunch. The food was absolutely delicious and did not include any human fingers at all. We stayed the night with Anders and his lovely wife Eva, and the next day they took us to Lymeworth Cove. The drive to this World Heritage Site was picturesque. The quaint villages were full of thatched roofed homes and sheep dotted the hillsides. The landscape was lush and included every shade of green possible. When we arrived at Lymeworth Cove, we were immediately overcome with the extraordinary natural surroundings. During the last ice age, the sea and river combined to create its unique geography. We first took the trail to the top of one of the cliffs to look out over the cove. In every direction there was something beautiful to look at. It was absolutely breathtaking. We then made our way down to the stone-covered beach down at the cove. We enjoyed a picnic lunch and had a lovely chat with our hosts. Next, we toured the charming little historic village of Lymeworth. It was a magical place full of charm and nature. We packed up our belongings and headed for our last stop, London. Our hotel was located near Victoria Station, and as soon as we unloaded our baggage, we were off to explore our new surroundings. We headed straight to Buckingham Palace. Luckily, we were there on Queen Elizabeth's 96th birthday. The palace was incredibly large and surrounded by an ornate fence and gate. The flowers in front of the palace were in full bloom, and the weather couldn't have been nicer. The next day, we jumped on the underground to head to Loop London, the yarn shop. But first, my son spied a Krispy Kreme donut stand, and we sat down while he enjoyed one of his favorite American treats. Taste about the same though?
Yeah,
Same
roughly.
flavor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Krispy Kreme is located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Right. Krispy Kreme is a North Carolina company, so we were excited to see that it's actually right here in Victoria Station, London. We finally made our way to the yarn shop I had been dreaming of all week. I found Loop London while doing a little research on the yarn shops in the area. Loop London was voted the best independent knitting shop in London for 2020, and I can see why they won. From the moment I saw the outside of Loop London, I felt at home. When you walk into the most adorable double pink doors, you are transported into a dreamland full of wool and notions. While not a big shop by any means, it was utterly charming, and the staff was not only friendly but very knowledgeable. They carry yarns from all over the world, as well as local yarns from indie dyers and English sheep. Everything was organized and well displayed, making it easy to find what I was looking for. The other thing I loved was the display of different projects. I found hand knit shawls hanging on the walls and crocheted granny square blankets draping over the chairs. It was a glorious experience. I poked around through each and every nook and cranny. I asked many questions and chatted with the women working there that day. The upstairs also had worsted, Aran, and bulky weight yarns lining the shelves. I was delighted to find quite a few knitted and crocheted amigurumi toys on the shelves as well. The other thing I loved were the kits they had for sale. They were in every price point, and each one was a gorgeous temptation. While shopping, I had to remember that I didn't have much room in my luggage to pack my treasures. I did bring home some lovely yarns and the pinwheel mitten kit, which I'm sure I will share in a future video. That evening, we went to Mass at Westminster Cathedral, not to be mistaken with the more famous Westminster Abbey. It was not only an extraordinarily beautiful church, but a wonderful time to give thanks for our safe travels and to pray for our family back home. We then made our way to dinner and back to the hotel for some much needed rest. We're just walking through the streets of London, just went to church, and we're going to dinner. Oh, that's the first cat I've seen in England. Look at there. Right, straight ahead.
Yeah.
The next morning, we made our way to the Tower of London. I had always envisioned it to be just a tall tower, not a castle that housed the crown jewels. We took the yeoman guided tour and learned so much history, which dates all the way back to the 1070s and William the Conqueror. This was the most interesting and educational thing we did during our time in England. There was so much to see and learn. So many historical events occurred right where we stood, like the beheading of King Henry VIII's wife, Anne Boleyn, just to name one. We also enjoyed seeing the famous tower ravens and were surprised at how big they were in person. They seemed to be watching us as much as we were watching them. Our next adventure was to the Tower of London Bridge, which crosses the River Thames. We then crossed back over the river on the famous London Bridge from the nursery rhyme song London Bridge is Falling Down. I'm happy to report that it was very strong and didn't crumble even a bit when we were crossing over. That day we walked over 20,000 steps and we all felt it in our aching feet. Our final full day in England was spent exploring the museums of London. We ventured to the Natural History Museum and marveled at the dinosaur exhibit. But we didn't stay too long there because it was incredibly crowded with adorable British school children. The Victoria and Albert Museum was just a short walk away, and we were pleasantly surprised at all there was to see and do there. My favorite part was the Beatrix Potter exhibit. There we learned about her family history, childhood, her career, and life in the Lake District. I spent quite a bit of time reading the stories of her life and marveling over her original artwork. I felt so inspired to be in the presence of one of my heroes. I read the Beatrix Potter stories over and over to my children when they were small, and seeing her original works in person was a dream come true for me. There was no way a person could see everything in the Victoria and Albert Museum in one day, but we crammed in as much as we could. Every area displayed historical and artistic treasures from around the world. Our day ended at Hyde Park. It was originally used as the hunting grounds for the infamous King Henry VIII in 1536. Since 1637, it has been open to the public, and it is a total of 350 acres. We also discovered that it is the home of the Princess Diana Memorial Fountain. I have always admired the People's Princess, and we enjoyed visiting this serene area in honor of her memory. The park was in full spring bloom, and we enjoyed every minute of the sunshine and fresh air. But it was finally time to return home to America. I hope you enjoyed this video scrapbook of our trip to England.